The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, December 4, put Sharon on the hot seat as she is forced to make a major decision about her future with Michael's help. Sharon has already stated her decision to plead guilty and accept punishment for what she thinks she did to Heather. Phyllis thinks that it is a great idea and will support Sharon every step of the way. She'll even take pictures. However, Michael does not think that's a great idea. He thinks there are many holes in the prosecution's case and lots of space for him to launch a spirited defense. Phyllis thinks Michael defending Sharon is a terrible idea. She's taking her ball and going home, and Michael can't be her friend anymore, and Phyllis won't sit with him during lunch, so will Michael be able to convince Sharon to save herself? Doesn't it feel like Summer has pretty much asked Kyle every possible question about Claire? She's asked about Claire as Harrison's babysitter. She's asked about Claire as Kyle's friend. She's asked about Claire as Kyle's love interest. What else is there to talk about? Quite a bit, actually, as Summer has many, many more questions for Kyle about Claire. Does she expect these answers to be any more satisfying? Now that Diane has stepped aside so that Kyle can be CEO of Jeopardy with his daddy, just like her precious baby boy whined and held his breath until he turned blue about, Jack has a different job offer for her. She can run Glissade again now that Jack has bought back what Victor sold off. Boy, it sure is great to be related to rich people, isn't it? Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. The dream team of Scheme are on a mission to take down the mustache. How far will they go? We think we have the answer. The great Victor Newman got Billy Boy good when he convinced Jill to hand over Chancellor on The Young and the Restless. He was practically laughing all the way to the bank while Billy wallowed in self-pity. Well, Billy isn't crying now. He's rallying the troops and plotting the ultimate revenge. Billy is well aware he can't do this alone. He's tried to lone wolf a battle against Victor before, and it never works. He needs an ally, and he has one in Phyllis Michelle Stafford. She's always happy to go up against the Newmans. We do have to wonder what fresh hell they're going to inflict upon Victor and his kin. Will she hack into the Newman systems and mess with the company's records and finances? Will he take to the internet and start a new podcast to expose all of Victor's scandals and lies? Or will they end up doing something completely unthinkable? Billy has brought up his struggle with his mental illness quite a few times in the past few months. At first, we thought it was just to relate to Ashley and her situation, but what if that was a bit of foreshadowing? Could it be that was a hint at what's to come for Billy? If he slides into a dark place, his life could take a dangerous turn. An unhinged Billy is a dangerous Billy, and Phyllis would play right along. In fact, she'll probably egg him on and push him further and further down the spiral until they do something that'll feel really good at the moment, but they'll regret it later. A kidnapping? A hostage-taking? A corporate takeover? Maybe even an attempted murder. With Billy and Phyllis, anything and everything is possible. For the Wednesday, December 4 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show Faith virtually crying for help, while Summer interrupts Kyle and Claire. These images preview some big moments that you will not want to miss. Sharon and Nick show up at Crimson Lights together. They spy a despondent Faith. Of course, the young woman is upset. She's had a lot happen in the past few years, and now her mom has confessed to murder, and for Faith, the whole thing isn't adding up. It looks like Nick and Sharon talk to their daughter. Will they be able to help Faith perk up a bit? Or will Faith feel even worse after Sharon tells her what she's planning to do? Meanwhile, Kyle and Claire enjoy a meal together at Society. She's smiling, and they're holding hands. Summer walks in, and she certainly zeroes in on her ex's closeness with her newfound cousin. Summer does not seem so happy about what she sees, especially now that she's broken up with Chance. Summer wastes no time in walking over to Kyle and Claire and interrupting him. Claire drinks tea while Summer and Kyle talk. What do you think they're saying? Victor Newman is a man to be feared on The Young and the Restless. The same goes for Eric Braeden. He managed to kick cancer in the butt. He shared an update about his cancer diagnosis. Braeden revealed that he's still leading man material. The Lie and R star posted a new video on TikTok. He picked up the heavy punching bag. Someone off camera can be heard in the background saying, "Yes." After being cancer-free, Braeden is getting back to work and his love of kickboxing. "No cancer found in my last cystoscopy. Yes, back to work," Braeden captioned his video. The iconic soap legend shared his cancer journey over the years. In February, Braeden said on KCAL TV that he had to be as ruthless as his portrayer. He credits a treatment called BCG, which was initially developed to treat tuberculosis. This treatment helped him kick cancer's butt. Braeden also credits early detection and paying attention to his body. He noticed symptoms that led to his cancer diagnosis. One common sign of prostate cancer among men over age 50 is when their urine doesn't release. This isn't the only health problem that Braeden had. He also had to deal with grueling knee surgery, but he didn't let his health issues get him down. In 2023, he assured Y&R fans that he was going to lick his recovery this time around. He wasn't going to make the same mistake again. "I then made a mistake of doing squats, not with weights. I wasn't that stupid," Braeden explained in a Facebook video. That's when he realized that recovery wasn't going to be smooth. Thankfully, he didn't harm his knee. It was during his journey from knee surgery that he realized he had issues with his prostate. Yet, the cancer wasn't found in his prostate. It was discovered in his bladder. Braeden's cancer story has an important lesson. Always listen to what your body is telling you. Also, take it easy, especially when your body needs recovery and rest. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Phyllis Summers survived the car crash that Sharon Newman was responsible for causing. But viewers know that Jordan Howard, while not seen committing the act, likely caused Phyllis to veer sharply off the road. That night wasn't stormy but dark when Sharon and Phyllis were driving. Phantom texts, sent by Jordan or Ian Ward, lured Phyllis to the cottage on Newman territory. Phyllis' impulsiveness led to her accident, but she doesn't offer many lines about personal responsibility. Instead, she believes Sharon is trying to kill her, and no one can blame Stafford's character at this point in the plot because she appears to have been vindicated. Case leads this deep storyline, but has nicely woven Stafford and Joshua Morrow into it. That's fitting because it's the 30th anniversary year of all actors' debut on Y&R. Consider where the show would be without the decision to have SERUM Nick, with Morrow becoming the recast. Sharon likely wouldn't have followed if that didn't happen because she was created to play his romantic interest. Sharon is being gaslighted, a term that's undoubtedly moved to or arrived in the cliché zone. Jordan and Ian's confessed use of her means she has not committed the most heinous acts ascribed to her, which also means Sharon is not in danger of being put in prison for decades. Thankfully, Chance Chancellor is handling this case. Some may recoil after reading the last sentence but follow along to the next. Chance knows Sharon better than anyone on the force, including the rarely seen Kevin Fisher. As an aside, here's hoping that Kevin is written back into the show so that he can assist Genoa City, Wisconsin's restored lead detective. Reichardt is an outstanding actor, and his presence is always appreciated. So, Sharon became close with Chance following Ray Rosel's death. Villasuso is another actor who is missed, though it will be harder to bring him back as he'd have to play a new man. Chance is more likely than any other member of the force to detect Sharon's memory gaps as signs of her innocence. It's not that he wants to find a way to free her, but that he knows her personality and should begin to put the missing pieces together. which causes him to conclude that Sharon could not have committed all the acts she's confessed to. Phyllis' visit with Billy Abbott was important. In addition to her pending release from the hospital, she learned he wants to partner with her to go after Victor Newman. Nothing will stop Phyllis from going after Sharon, who she believes framed Daniel Romalotti for Heather Stevens' murder and then tried to kill her on the road. Even Victor didn't behave like that. However, Billy will provide enough distraction and help Phyllis see a different daytime light. As fans saw, she realized something important when reflecting on the moment of her car crash impact. Her mind is opening up, and with that can come the realization that dark forces are at work against her and Sharon. So, getting Heather's true killer will eventually become Sharon and Phyllis' combined goal. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Claire Newman might find herself with a compelling reason to pay a visit to Jordan in prison. However, there's a significant hitch in that idea. Jordan is currently roaming free in Genoa City. Claire Newman might soon find herself compelled to pay a visit to Jordan in prison. However, there's a significant hitch in that plan. Jordan is actually roaming free in Genoa City. Claire has built a beautiful life for herself, bolstered by the unwavering love and support from the Newmans. The presence of Kyle Abbott and Harrison Abbott only enhances Claire's joy, leaving her with much to appreciate. Yet, a part of Claire may always carry the scars of Jordan's manipulation and the trials she was forced to face. It's no surprise that an unusual encounter could evoke some strange emotions and lead Claire to reflect on her past. Between December 2 to 6, Y&R spoilers indicate that Claire will be accompanied by Kyle when they unexpectedly run into a disguised Jordan. Even though Jordan will be sporting a phony accent and one of her typical wild outfits, Claire will find her mysteriously familiar. As Jordan feigns ignorance and hurriedly exits the scene, Claire is likely to continue pondering this interaction afterward, remembering Jordan's past disguises. The more thoughts she has about it, the clearer her memories of Jordan's history with disguises may become, and she may come to the conclusion she'd better check. The Young and the Restless spoilers. What if that was Jordan Howard? Although Claire may doubt the feasibility or reasonableness of the situation, she might still have an inkling that the woman was indeed Jordan. If she confides in Kyle, he could try to comfort her, suggesting that Victor Newman would be aware if Jordan had managed to break free. While Kyle might not see it as a pressing concern, Claire could ultimately feel compelled to seek out Jordan herself, especially if this meeting triggers haunting memories. Claire could persuade Victor to set up a prison visit, seeking some reassurance and a chance to clear her mind of any lingering doubts. Just picture her shock if a fake Jordan shows up in the visiting area instead of the genuine article. Y&R spoilers. An identity swap was what got Jordan out of prison. Ian Ward revealed that an identity switch enabled Jordan to escape from prison, indicating that someone else is doing time for her. There seems to be a look-alike of Jordan, but she might not be a perfect match, especially to someone as familiar with her as Claire. Even if this Jordan double happens to resemble her closely, Claire would likely sense that something isn't quite right. Jordan may have a unique personality and could forget important details about their family background. It would be intriguing if Claire's visit to prison resulted in Jordan getting caught. Upcoming spoilers show indicate that Claire and the Newman family will soon learn about Jordan's escape, so keep watching for more. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Ian Ward and Jordan Howard are far from finished torturing the people of Genoa City. The Newmans and Sharon Newman are both targets, and Faith Newman is the next likely target. Faith Newman is in a horrible position. The Young and the Restless spoilers point out that Faith is in a horrible position. Faith is the daughter of Nick Newman and Sharon. Kidnapping her would serve as a blow to both Sharon and the Newmans. This would certainly seem far since Sharon has Mariah Copeland and Victor has Claire Newman. Ian was in a cult with Nikki Newman and Mariah at one time. Ian even forced Mariah to marry him, even though she was raised as his daughter. Ian also claimed to be Dylan McAvoy's father. Nikki is his mother, but Paul Williams is his father, not Ian. My and our spoilers. Jordan Howard got caught the last time. Jordan decided to kidnap Harrison Abbott and Claire the last time. Jordan knows that Claire is crazy about that child and kidnapped him for revenge. However, Harrison was saved and Jordan was captured. Jordan is supposed to be in prison over this kidnapping now, but obviously she escaped. Ian could want Faith for another daughter. Ian lost Mariah, so why not take her sister? This would be getting even with Mariah and Nikki, considering he raised Mariah as his daughter for years. Faith would do just fine as a replacement for her. Perhaps Ian plans to marry Faith in the place of Mariah and continue with his cult activities. Jordan has run herself crazy trying to make all of this fall into place with framing Sharon for Heather Stevens' murder. However, going after Faith would be so much easier because she would be at school and away from her family. Faith would have much less protection at school and traveling to school even. Faith could be fooled much easier than Sharon or even Phyllis Summers. Ian or Jordan cold pretend to be Sharon and ask to meet up with her somewhere and get Faith while she's out alone. Pretending to be Faith in conversations with her family would not be that difficult either, especially as Sharon is in prison. How long will it take the Newmans to figure out the truth? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Sally Spectra is said to find herself caught in a bit of drama during the week of December 2 to 6. While at Crimson Lights, it seems she will swing by for a cup of coffee with Billy Abbott, or they may simply bump into each other during their visit. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Adam Newman won't be happy. This will provide Billy and Sally with the opportunity to deepen their connection. But Adam Newman is not going to take it well. While Adam hopes to rekindle his relationship with Chelsea Lawson and restore their family unit, he hasn't completely moved on from Sally. Watching Sally develop feelings for one of his fiercest rivals has been increasingly troubling for him. Victor Newman has cautioned Adam to keep his frustrations hidden from Billy and Sally, but he's close to losing his temper. Adam will also be at the coffee house during Sally and Billy's visit, which means he might witness yet another intimate moment between them. My and our spoilers. Jealous Adam might interrupt. As a result, Adam may not be able to resist strutting over and delivering some insulting comments. Of course, Adam really needs to mind his own business and let Sally live her life the way she wants to. Sally gets to decide who she's romantically involved with, so she doesn't need to hear Adam's objections. Adam has no right to judge Sally after cheating on her and repeatedly lying about it. Sally's relationship with Adam turned into a massive dumpster fire, so it's easy to see why she just wants to put it in the rearview mirror. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Billy will prove himself to Sally. After witnessing the latest confrontation between Billy and Adam, upcoming spoilers indicate that Billy will rise to the occasion and demonstrate to Sally exactly what she desires. In Sally's eyes, this will serve as evidence that Billy is the superior choice, likely by refusing to let Adam bait him into a fight. Instead, Billy might take a stand for Sally, highlighting her strength and independence in making her own romantic decisions. She doesn't need Adam's validation, and Billy is likely to make that abundantly clear, sending Adam packing. Regardless of Adam's feelings, Sally is ready to make changes in her love life, and he'll have to accept that reality. Geno City is about to get a whole lot messier. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that troublemakers Jordan and Ian Ward are cooking up some dodgy schemes. They are staying out of sight, crafting each move with finesse. Nobody in town is truly safe, but fans wonder what they're actually up to. Are they planning a kidnapping, a scandal, or something even worse? Find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers confirm that Jordan is a pro at pulling off disguises. Her knack for gathering intel outsmarts her enemies, and she might make a similar move again. So, who's on her radar this time? It's none other than her grandniece, Claire, who's seeing Kyle Abbott at the moment. Claire and Kyle are very close to becoming an item, but they need some intimate moments. Subsequently, the duo finally plan to spend a cozy night together to advance their relationship. But as luck would have it, nothing ever goes smoothly in Genoa City. Remember, Jordan is set to bump into Kyle and Claire outside society this week. I and our spoilers suggest that hooking up in Kyle's bedroom could be off the menu. It is because his house is jam-packed with relatives. So grabbing a meal peacefully in the GCAC room will offer some quality time. Meanwhile, if Jordan wasn't about this budding romance, she will. In fact, she might see this as her golden opportunity to settle the score. It's not hard to picture that unhinged woman disguised as a housekeeper, right? Additionally, she might plant a hidden camera and capture their passionate moments. But why stop there? Ian's partner in crime could take things up a notch by leaking the footage online or live streaming it for maximum drama. The fallout could either break or make Claire and Kyle's relationship. Interestingly, Sharon Newman could potentially get involved in this storyline. Who knows, the upcoming chaos may pave the way for Kyle and Sharon to rekindle their romance. We can't wait to see how far Jordan will go to seek vengeance. Don't miss out on more The Young and the Restless spoilers over at Soap Opera Daily. Could Jordan's actions block Claire's fresh start and put her relationship with Kyle in jeopardy? Sitting on the couch at the Abbott manse, Claire tells Kyle how making peace with your family makes everything better. He thinks about how brutal the things that he and his parents said to each other were. Now he realizes it was all for him. She says that the memory will soften and they will move on. He's had to realize his parents were right about him. She's impressed and proud that he can admit that. They kiss. Kyle points out they have the house to themselves for the next few hours. That gives her an idea. She suggests they step into the kitchen for chocolate chip cookies. He chases her in as she giggles. They return with a plate of cookies and polish them off as they tease each other. She laughs about her ability to read people finally being used for good. He thanks her for all the good she's put into his life and kisses her again. It's hard for him to wrap his head around her tolerating him and his anger all these months. She never judged him. Claire reminds him she was raised on hatred and envy. He's a novice compared to what she's used to. When he tells her what a good person she is, she has to step away. She admits it's hard to take a compliment. Kyle says that everything about her is good. She's the essence of good, and everyone who she comes close to feels it. He's lucky to know her. As they keep kissing, they head up to his room. They slowly undress each other and climb into bed. After they have sex, he notices something is up. She says it's embarrassing. This was her first time, and she's sorry she didn't tell him before. Kyle hopes she will trust him to listen to any of her complicated feelings. Claire explains that her life was not her own for so long. All she had was Jordan, and she couldn't be herself, only her aunt's tool. Then she realized she had a family and her real life started. That's when they got to know each other and her life went from something small and cold to something warm and wonderful. She's still sad about all she lost, but so happy with what she has now. They kiss. Faith finds Lucy shivering on a park bench. She had no idea she was already back. Lucy returned the moment that she heard her father was cleared and her grandmother was driven off the road. It was so awful to see someone as tough as Phyllis looking so terrified. She's sure it must be hard on Faith to discover that her mom was the killer all along. Faith is sure that Lucy hates them all now. Lucy could never hate her after looking up to her for so long. She doesn't know what to do with all the anger she feels. Her friend doesn't know what to say about how awful and ugly all this is. At first, Lucy thought it was all a mistake, but murder? She couldn't imagine someone doing that to her mom. It was always clear that Sharon hated them, but did she plan it all this time? Faith begs her to stop. She can't handle all of this sounding so calculated. Lucy reminds her that Sharon wanted her mom off the face of the planet, and even planted evidence in her house to make Daniel look like a monster. She treated her like demon spawn for months. There's no other side to that. Sharon hated them and made them suffer. Standing to go, Faith admits she doesn't know what to believe. Lucy tells her that her mom is a monster. She can't still love her. Of course I still love her, Faith says. Lucy thinks she's delusional. Faith knows that there's nothing she can say to make things better. But she knows her mom and knows she would never do this in her right mind. Lucy isn't swallowing the insanity defense. Phyllis warned that's what they would pull and accuses her of lying to herself about her killer mother. She did it, Lucy repeats. She took her mom and tried to take her dad too. She guesses that Sharon was nice to Faith and making her snacks every single day she was doing it. Faith is sorry, but she can't listen to this and runs off. On the Crimson Lights patio, Michael refuses to let Sharon plead guilty. He tells her not to let Phyllis get under her skin. Sharon insists that her enemy was right, but the lawyer urges her not to let her case be derailed. The judge will not look kindly on her. She's sure he's brilliant enough to keep her out of prison, but that's not what she deserves. He knows she must want to do penance, but this is not the way. She needs there to be justice in the world, and there has to be a cost for robbing Heather of seeing her daughter grow up. This is something she owes to Heather and everyone who loves her. Michael wants to call Nick in, but she insists he has nothing to do with this. She's guilty and plans to make it official as soon as possible. If he won't help her do that, she will find someone who will. He asks if she thinks her kids will applaud her for this. She insists she's no role model. The least she can do is show that she knows right from wrong. The pain will go away after a period of time, and they'll realize they are better off without her. The lawyer doesn't believe that. He believes in redemption and spends every day trying to be a man his wife and son are proud of. He's sure they are glad to have him around. Sharon says this is different. When he reminds her that she can't even remember what she's claiming to have done, she reminds him he's already done his time. Now it's her time to do it. He can't talk her out of that. Nick joins Chance at Society to talk about Sharon's confession. He admits that something about this is not sitting right with him. She's always been upfront about her bipolar condition. This is not Sharon. He's sure she met up with Heather and something happened, but he can't imagine it was premeditated. The blackouts may be the key to the whole thing. He's spoken to her therapist, and there must have been some massive psychological break. But if there was, how is she being so rational and coherent now? Chance admits that he never saw this coming. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. When Nick tries to piece it all together, he says it's been going on for a long time. The cop is sure that her lawyer can find things, but he's not going to chase down random theories about her medications when there is a confession on the table. The Newman is sure he can't do that officially, but he fished out some of the meds she threw into the trash after she had her dosage changed. Maybe the pills or bottle could be checked. Chance thinks he's grasping at straws, but Nick asks him to help with this. Since the detective is sure he won't drop this, he offers to see what he can do. Nick gets a text from Michael and takes off. Nick joins Michael and his client on the patio. Sharon is not happy that he was called over and says there is nothing to discuss. The lawyer explains that she wants her not guilty plea rescinded, and Nick points out that means jail. His ex says this is her decision, and no one gets a vote on it. Nick suggests he has something that might change her mind. She doesn't want to hear this. Nick is sure she has as strong a sense of right and wrong as anyone, and he's sure she thinks she should be punished, but he doesn't believe she knew what she was doing. They argue about her meds, and she points out that they couldn't have made her a killer. If it were the meds, why does she feel fine now? He's scared of the thought of her stuck in a jail cell. Something about this isn't right, and he can't accept that. She insists she needs to atone. Michael cocks his head when Nick explains he's having her old meds tested. In a few days they will know more, and he will back off. He begs her to wait. At the Red Door Motel, Ian is scrolling through the news and complaining that this confession hasn't netted enough negative results yet. There's a rap at the door. He opens up and demands to know who the blonde woman standing there is. It's Jordan in disguise, and he's impressed. Laughing, he tells her to enjoy buzzing around the city. She promises to find out how Sharon and her family have been suffering. They talk about how the media seems to be protecting her while he was extensively trashed. It's not enough that she be shut out of the world. It needs to be rubbed in the face of everyone she cares about. Jordan is sure everyone knows the doe-eyed prom queen is a killer. He wants to know that this is flattening their souls. When he demands proof of the suffering, she accuses him of barking orders, and he apologizes for forgetting himself. Once she exits, he drops his smile and scowls. The young and the restless Victor Newman has it all. Wealth, power, a brilliant wife in Nikki, a loving family, well, some of the time. But none of it really seems to make him happy, does it? In fact, his only hobbies, and they bring him satisfaction perhaps but not joy, are smacking down his enemies and attempting to force his children to work together. What Victor needs, and badly, is something that he once had, something that he once treasured, in fact, a friend. Remember the Colonel. Despite the fact that Douglas Austin had been a con artist, he and Victor became the best of buddies. It was even Douglas who dragged Victor to the bayou the fateful night that he first glimpsed Nikki doing her best Gypsy Rose Lee. Nowadays, Victor has employees, allies, adversaries, but no one with whom he can actually pal around. Suppose out of boredom, if nothing else, he rang an old acquaintance and asked him to the ranch to have a beer, maybe go riding. An outsider's perspective could make a world of difference to Victor's behavior. Any sane person would be like, "Whoa, dude, you totally screwed over Lily." And, "Bro, you went after Jack Abbott 'cause he helped get your wife off the sauce." That makes no sense. Make no mistake, Victor needs the reality check. Otherwise, he's destined to forever move in a circle, getting nowhere, ultimately, because he keeps lathering, rinsing, repeating the same schemes. And who's to say that Victor's new BFF has to be a man? It could be a woman too. Imagine Victor having a drink with someone like Yellowstone's Tell It Like It is Beth Dutton or Grey's Anatomy's No BS Bailey. Maybe Victor could even forge a friendship with someone already on the canvas, but with not nearly enough to do. Elena maybe, or Tessa? In particular, Tessa sparked really nicely when offering beer and pearls of wisdom to Daniel not so longer. She could be exactly what Victor needs to look at himself and his life through new eyes. As an added bonus, she'd have more to do than fret over Aria or Sharon's problems with Mariah. Nick knows that Sharon believes she killed Heather, but she doesn't remember actually doing it. That, and the fact that Nick knows Sharon better than anyone, is enough for him to do everything he can to prove that she isn't a murderer. Michael agrees with Nick. He also believes he can present a defense so that the judge recognizes that Sharon was not in her right state of mind when she confessed and when she entered her guilty plea. Sharon is determined to make a decision that she can live with, but Nick does not want her to plead guilty and accept her fate in prison. On Tuesday, Nick crosses the line to help Sharon. He asks Chance to help Sharon too. Will Chance be willing to look for clues and other suspects now that Sharon is in danger of wrongfully going to prison? Kyle's and Claire's relationship has mostly been focused on Kyle and his family problems. When they first met, Kyle was embroiled in a custody battle for Harrison. He'd had a falling out with his mom, got fired from his job, and got hurt when his dad didn't take his side. Since Claire met Kyle, he has been bitter and angry. Miraculously, she was able to get to his softer side. She listened when he needed a friend and offered advice of forgiveness and understanding. With Claire's help, Kyle has been able to find a path forward with Jack and Diane, and their relationship is on the mend. Now that his relationship with his parents has settled down, Kyle realizes that it's time for him to start giving back. Jordan and Ian have a plan, and although we're not 100% sure what it is yet, we do know that Sharon is the target. Ian is getting frustrated not knowing how Sharon's confession has affected her family. Apparently, this is very important information to Ian, so on Tuesday, Jordan dons a disguise and ventures out into Genoa City to gather intel for Ian. The recent storylines of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, have left fans furious with the plot dynamics revolving around Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summer. Phyllis has been after Sharon to prove her guilty of the blame for Heather's murder and wrongly framing Daniel Romalotti. The episode aired on December 2, 2024, became a triggering point as Phyllis warned Sharon that she could go to any extent to find justice for her family. A Facebook user, Kathleen Niemi Vettori, posted that Sharon might need protection from Phyllis if this storyline kept developing in the same direction. Further, the post received numerous comments from fans who wrote their thoughts about the same. "We need a break from Phyllis' wrath. Please concentrate on other characters, please, please, please," wrote a user, Cindy Gibo. The conflict between Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman reached a boiling point at Crimson Lights during the December 2, 2024 episode of The Young and the Restless. The scene began with Summer trying to help her mother, Phyllis, have a peaceful morning with coffee and a scone. However, things got heated when Sharon walked into the coffee shop. Phyllis, who always speaks her mind, accused Sharon of acting like a victim after doing terrible things, including the alleged murder of Heather. Sharon kept her cool and said she was sorry for what she did, but her words only made Phyllis angrier. Phyllis declared she would seek justice herself if the court failed to do so. Even though Sharon admitted she was wrong and was ready to face the consequences, Phyllis still didn't believe her. Things got more intense when Phyllis told Sharon to fire her lawyer, Michael Baldwin, and admit to everything. Michael showed up, but it didn't really help the situation, as Phyllis yelled at him for still defending Sharon. The confrontation eventually turned emotional when Sharon linked her actions to the grief of losing her daughter, Cassie. This made Phyllis understand Sharon's pain, but she still said she would fight hard for justice for her own family. The scene ended with Sharon saying she would plead guilty, setting the stage for the next chapter in this complex storyline. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.